Hello, everyone. Welcome to your topic 3 ticket to retake the test. So, we're going to work through these problems together and hopefully clarify a few things so that a retake on topic 3 is a big success. All right, so number 1 says, suppose the equation of the line L is x equals 1. Given points M, N, and O, graph triangle MNO and the reflection image, capital R. So remember, capital R is our reflection. This little subscript of L, they told us up here that L is the line x equals 1 of triangle MNO. So they could have written this as a reflection across the line x equals 1. They could have put the equation down there. They tend not to. I don't know why. I kind of prefer that. So let's go to our graph. One thing I notice is it's really hard to see the x and y axis. So I'm going to just darken those up a little bit. Well, maybe I'll draw it a little bit better. So here's our x-axis. And here's our y-axis. Maybe it doesn't bother you guys, but I like to see that a little bit more clearly. Okay, so we're going to start by plotting our points M, N, and O. We just want to be really careful with making sure that we're accurately plotting those. So point M is at 3, 3. So from the origin, we're going to go to the right 3 and up 3. We can label that point M. Actually, maybe I can, oh, there we go, nice. Point N is at 4, 4. So I'm going to go to the right 4 and up 4. There's N. And then point O is 5, 2. So we go to the right 5 and up 2. And that's point O. So my letters might be getting in my way a little bit here, but we can see here's our triangle MNO. Okay, so we're going to do a reflection across the line x equals 1. So x equals 1 is a line that crosses through the x-axis at 1. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the x-axis. I'm going to plot a point at 1, and then our reflection line is going to be the line that crosses through the x-axis at 1. So it's going to be this vertical line right here. This is what we're going to reflect across. All right, so when we reflect across this, we're going to take each point, we're going to count to the reflection line and then count the same number of spaces in the exact opposite, so the other side of our reflection line. So here's point M. I can see it's 1, 2 units away. Then I'm going to go 1, 2 units to the other side, and that's where M prime is going to be. So that's M prime. Oh, maybe I do this bigger. Oh, there we go. All right, now point N I can see is 1, 2, 3 units. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 to the other side, and this is where N prime will go. And last we have O. Here's point O. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 units to our reflection line. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the other side, and this is where O prime will go. And then we can draw in our reflected triangle. This is the image with the primes, M prime, N prime, and O prime. And remember, this is our pre-image. We can see this just got reflected across over there. All right, got number 1 done. All right, so number 2. What is the reflection rule for the triangle and image with coordinates? Here's our points A, B, and C, and then here's A prime, B prime, C prime. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw our triangle ABC. That's our pre-image. Then we're going to draw the image. And once we see the pre-image and the image, we can find the reflection rule. We can find that line that we reflected across. So first, let's start by drawing triangle ABC. So let's see. A is at the point 2, 4. So from the origin, I'm going to go to the right 2 and up 4. Here's point A. B is at 4, 6, so go to the right 4, up 6. Oops, I almost wrote 6. This is our B. And then C is at 5, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. There's C. All right, so this is our pre-image. Now this got reflected and ended up at our image, which are these ordered pairs over here. So we're going to plot these points, and then once we see the pre-image and the image, that will help us find the reflection line. All right, so A prime is at negative 4, negative 2. So from the origin, I'm going to go to the left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, down 2. That's A prime. B prime is negative 6, negative 4. So go to the left 6, down 4. And C prime is negative 2, negative 4. All right, let me zoom in. That green is kind of hard to see. There we go. We'll darken these up a little bit. We'll draw in our triangle. Okay, so this reflection line isn't going to be just a horizontal or vertical line like the last one. What we want to look at is say, well, if we had our pre-image at A, how did we get to our image at A prime? So I do want to connect these with a line. And if I just kind of start heading, I can kind of see a line that's formed like that. This isn't the reflection line, but that's going to help me get to the reflection line. So you see how I'm just connecting A and A prime. So the reflection line is going to be halfway between these two. This one is kind of nice because it did go right through kind of each of these points on the coordinate plane. So if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 diagonal units away, so half of that, 1, 2, 3, I know the reflection line has to go through this spot right there. So I'm going to go ahead and plot a point there because I know the reflection line has to go through that. Now, the tricky part is, is my reflection line like this, or like this, or like this? So what we just did, we're going to do that same thing with one more vertex. I think we can do that with C and C prime. So if we go from C to C prime, here's C, and I want to connect it to C prime. Oh, wait, did I miss? I think I plotted something wrong. I'm going to pause and fix it. Okay, honestly, I think that there was a typo right here. I think that this point C was supposed to be at 4, 2. So if I come back here to where C is, I think this is where point C is. And our triangle really looks more like this. Now I think that our two triangles are the same shape. I didn't catch that they were slightly off shape from each other. Oops, is that my eraser? Okay, sorry for all the pausing. Back on track. So again, that's a typo right there. That should have been 4, 2. So to the right 4, up 2. Here's where C is. So back to finding the reflection line. We connected A to A prime, and then we found the halfway point right there. We're going to connect C to C prime, and this is going through each of those diagonals again. So this is going to work out pretty nicely where we can just kind of go like that, and we're going to count how many diagonal units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that one is 6 also. So if I go in 3, this point right here is on the reflection line. So I'm going to go ahead and plot that. Now our reflection line is going to be the line that connects these two. And then I'm just going to continue the same line. So that is our reflection line. There we go. And if you look at it, I think that looks pretty good. I think ABC reflected across that line is A prime, B prime, C prime. And so the question that we're being asked is, what is the reflection rule? So our reflection rule is capital R, reflection. And then what is the equation of this line? So let's think y equals mx plus b. The slope is negative. We're going down one to the right one, down one to the right one, down one to the right one. So negative 1x. And then our b is our y-intercept and is crossing the y-axis at 0. So y equals negative 1x is the equation of that line, or just y equals negative x. That's the reflection rule. All right, so number 3, what is the rule for the translation shown? So we have two problems here, kind of part A and part B. So if we look at, first of all, they did tell us translation. Translation is shifting. You have horizontal shifting and vertical shifting. So to do this, all you have to do is track one point from each image. So I think maybe B would be an easy one to track. So I want to figure out the horizontal shifting first. So if I go from B, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we went to the right 5 units. Anytime you're going to the right, that's going to be a positive number. And then to get to B prime, we're going down 2. So that's going to be negative 2 units. When you do your vertical shift, anytime you go down, it's negative. So our translation rule, capital T for translation, and then the first number we put in is our horizontal shifting. We went to the right 5, so it's going to be a positive 5. It shifted our x's 5 units to the right. And then the second number we put in is our vertical shifting, so it's going to go down, or negative 2, because we went down 2 units. We did have to make sure we started with the pre-image. Our pre-image is A, B, C, D, and our image is A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. So how do we get from here to here? If we go to the right 5 and down 2, that will get us from the pre-image to the image. All right, so next one, same idea. We want to start with our pre-image. Oops, our pre-image is P and our image is P prime. So how do we get from here to here? Think of your shifting. So we're going to go to the right 1, 2 units. So anytime you go to the right, it's positive. If we were going to the left, we would have a negative number for that horizontal shift. And then we're going down 1 unit. When we go down, it's negative, so negative 1. And our translation rule is capital T, it's a translation. We went to the right 2 units and down 1 unit. So that's what that rule is going to look like. Okay, so the vertices of triangle ABC are, we got A, B, and C coordinates. For each translation, give the vertices of A prime, B prime, C prime after this translation. So here's one thing you guys can do with your translations. So we know that A is the ordered pair 2, negative 3. So we can take our translation rule. That negative 2 means we're going to do a horizontal shift, which shifts your x values negative 2 or 2 units to the left. So we could draw this out, and we just did some with drawings up above. You could plot those points and do the shifting, but here's the math. Here's a math way to do it. Your horizontal shifting is a negative 2, so I'm going to put a negative 2 below the x because we want to shift those all 2 units to the left. And the vertical shifting is a positive 3, so we want to go up 3. So I'm going to put a positive 3 below the y coordinate. Now A prime is going to be, now I'm just going to do this math. As long as you start with the top number, what is 2 minus 2? That gives us a 0. What is negative 3 plus 3? Because it's positive. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. And that's where A prime will be. B prime, same thing. Let me write out what B is. So point B is at -3, -5, and C is at 4, 1. So these graphs here, it doesn't tell us to graph, they just want to find the vertices of the image after the translation. So I could graph it and move them, or I'm just going to show you guys how to do this mathematically this time. So I'm not going to end up graphing this because we'll be able to answer the question without the graph. So we're going to apply the same translation rules. So we're going to subtract 2 from our x. We're going to add 3 to the y. So b prime is -3 minus 2 is -5, and -5 plus 3 is -2. There's b prime. For our point C, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to subtract 2 from the x, add 3 to the y. So C prime is 4 minus 2 is 2, and 1 plus 3 is 4. So there's your answer for number 4. Number 5, we're going to do the same thing. Maybe I'll write these over here. We've got point A, it's still the same points, 2, -3. B is -3, -5. And C is 4, 1. All right, so our translation rule this time says -4, so we want to go to the left 4, and then -1, down 1. So remember, the first number is your horizontal shifting of your x's. The second number is the vertical shifting of the y's. So I'm just going to subtract 4 from the x's and subtract 1 from the y's. So A prime, 2 minus 4 is -2. And -3 minus 1 is -4. B prime, we do the same thing, subtract 4 from the x, subtract 1 from the y. -3 minus 4 is -7, and then -5 minus 1, -6. And then same thing here. C prime is 4 minus 4, which is 0, and 1 minus 1, 0. So here's our image after the translation.